Have you ever heard of the resurrection men? No, they weren't bringing people back from the dead. In fact, they were doing quite the opposite. Imagine this, it's the early 19th century. London or Edinburgh, medical science is advancing rapidly. But there's a huge problem: to learn about human anatomy. Doctors and students need bodies to dissect. The law, however, only allowed them to use the corpses of executed criminals. With crime rates falling, the supply just couldn't meet the demand. This created a grim business opportunity. Enter the resurrection men, or as they were more commonly known, body snatchers. These weren't ghouls or monsters from a horror story. They were often desperate, working-class men who saw a chance to make a living. Under the cover of darkness, armed with shovels and hooks, they would head to freshly filled graveyards. Speed was everything. They wouldn't dig up the entire coffin. Instead, they'd dig a hole at the head of the grave, break open the coffin lid, and use a rope or hook to pull the body out. They'd then carefully put the dirt back, leaving the family's mourning flowers undisturbed, making it look like nothing had ever happened. The fresher the corpse, the higher the price. A body could fetch a handsome sum from an anatomy school. No questions asked. The schools were desperate, and the resurrection men were happy to supply their grisly product. It was a terrifying time for the public. Families would stand guard over the graves of their loved ones for days, sometimes even weeks. Wealthier families could afford iron cages called mort safes to be placed over the coffin, or build heavily fortified watchtowers in cemeteries. This grotesque trade reached its peak with the infamous Burke and Hare case in 1828. William Burke and William Hare decided to skip the digging part altogether. Instead, they started murdering people to create a fresh supply of corpses to sell. Their crimes exposed the dark underbelly of the medical world and led to public outrage. This moral panic ultimately pushed the government to act. In 1832, the Anatomy Act was passed. It allowed doctors and medical students to legally dissect and claim bodies from workhouses and hospitals, effectively putting the resurrection men out of business. It's a chilling chapter in history, reminding us how scientific progress can sometimes walk a very dark and twisted path. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the strange corners of history. See you next time.